Holy shit, ladies and gentlemen. Wow, that's a brilliant note to start this LP on. Hello, I am Tessellating Hexagons, and you don't want to know the nonsense I've had to go through just to get this to record, if it will even record. We may yet discover that, no, this won't record, and actually I'll just scrap this entire recording session, I don't know. But trust me, this is an absolute nightmare to record, because you know what, I'll just let you watch the cutscene first.
Okay, rolling.
Oh, it's been peaceful here in the Five Worlds, or is it 6, for a Dragon's Age. We now have 12,000 treasure, or is it 14,000?
What about this Ganasty Gnort character? Now, I understand he's found a magic spell to turn gems into warriors for his cause.
I'll take that question. Nasty Nork is a simple creature. Simple! He has been contained in a remote world and is no threat to the Dragon Kingdom. No threat! Besides, he is ugly. Ugly? That does it!
Looks like I've got some things to do.
What gripping story. I don't remember what I was just saying, but yeah, so I have an original Spyro 1 disc that I could play this on, but it's too old and the PS3 won't recognize it and I can't record from anything lower than the PS3. Anyway, this is Spyro 1. Also, it's got a lot of voice acting.
Thank you for releasing me, Spyro. Free 10 dragons in the artisan world. Then find the balloonist. He'll transport you to the next world.
What about Nasty Nork? I'm going after him.
Find dragons first. That's all I can tell you.
So I could skip them. You can skip all of those cutscenes apart from the one that we literally... Okay, I'm stressed out my mind, so I don't even know where to begin explaining. So every time you free a dragon, because those are the primary... This is a collector... Okay, I'll start at the beginning. This is a collectathon. Dragons are our primary collectible, and every single one has something to say when you rescue them, whether it's tutorial advice, or just, oh my god, you saved me, thanks, yo. And every single one of those cutscenes can be skipped, apart from that very, very first one. Now, I will leave it to you lovely people to determine, do I skip subsequent dragon speeches or do I leave them in? I'm going to default to leaving them in, so i.e. not skipping everything that every dragon says. I'm not gonna skip dragon cutscenes unless you people really, really want me to. Okay, so now that all that introductory stuff's out of the way, Spyro the Dragon. A fond memory from my childhood, and one of those... You know what, I'm just a sucker for series that go vastly downhill the closer we get to the present day, because... I mean, I won't identify as a Sonic fan, but I enjoy Sonic games. Crash Bandicoot, I don't say I dislike, because I like Crash Bandicoot games, I like Spyro games, and all of these series have been dying recently, well, not even recently, it's one, they've been dead for quite a long time, and I cry all of my sads. So, for people just joining fresh, cold, out of the blue with the cold turkey, as I said, this is a collectathon. Our primary collectible is dragons, but we also have gems. Red ones are worth 1, green are worth 2, blue are worth 5, but the blue ones are changed to purple in later games. Yellow are worth 10, and this nice sort of cherry pink colour are worth 25. But in the Game Boy Advance games, they're light blue instead, the ones that are worth 25, but... Nyeh. There are also dragon eggs, which are another type of collectible, but we won't see those for a little while. And I don't think I have that much else to relate as far as introductory shit goes. That's a portal that leads to one of the levels. I'm not going to go in there yet, because I'm going to collect all the stuff in the overworld first. This is the overworld. It's one of the home worlds, because this game takes place in the world of dragons, and the dragons are sorted into, like, 5 different classes. And this is the home world of the artisan race, hence it's the artisan's home world. Or Green Garden in the Japanese version, and oh, good grief, I have a lot to bitch about when it comes to the Japanese version of this game, because... So, as I recall, this game was produced in America first, and then later exported to Japan because Sony has Japanese connections. I don't know the exact specifics, also dragon cutscene, so pardon me for a second. Thomas, that's like the Welsh spelling or something.
Hey, Spyro, press the jump button twice to glide, and don't be afraid.
Afraid? Of what?
Falling from high mountain peaks? Plummeting into prehistoric glaciers?
Oh, that.
Okay, so, yeah, it was exported to Japan, but somewhere in the exporting process, some bright spark said, oh, I don't like how the camera controls, and also the game's too fast. So the Japanese version, they make the camera literally just terrible, shitty, crapiola cuckapoo. Seriously, Crystal Fisher, a Spyro playing aficionado on YouTube, go and check him out. He's currently doing an LP of Japanese Spyro 1, and the camera is terrible. Spyro's main attacking, well, he has two main attacking moves, charging like that and fire because dragon. Spyro's charge attack in the Japanese version is about his walking speed in this version. So just be glad that I'm playing... Actually, I think because this is the PlayStation Network version, or the PlayStation Store, whatever, I think this is the American version, technically. Also, another dragon! Trust me, they won't be coming this thick and fast later in the game.
Where's Nasty Nork? I'll torch him.
Keep your horns on, Spyro! You have much to learn first. Do you know what the dragonfly following you is doing? His name is Sparks, and he's helping and protecting you. Keep an eye on him and see what I mean.
So, yeah, later areas, dragons won't be as frequent, they'll be much, much less exposition-y. It's just because it's the first area, they want to lay as much plot and tutorial on you as much as possible. I don't know if that's been addressed yet, I think it may have just been, I don't know, this TV that I'm playing on does have sound output, but it's down really low, so I don't get any microphone feedback, but we may or may not have just addressed Sparks the Dragonfly, who is following behind. Always green in the Japanese version, yellow at full health in this version, blue at -1 hit, green at -2 hits, and then he disappears, and then one more hit and you die. I'm just explaining it so badly, but it should become self-evident after a while.
Cool Flash, do that again.
The artisan's boss is through a portal in the dragon mouth, but you are not yet ready, Spyro. First you must complete one of the other artisan lands.
And that's the other thing that I want to bring up. Oh, by the way, these sheep, if you defeat them, they release butterflies, and Sparks can eat butterflies to regain. Sheep are health, basically, although they're not always sheep. Every level has a different... Okay, they're referred to as fodder. Sometimes they're sheep, sometimes they're other small animals that you can chase down and destroy to get health from. I'm sorry, I'm completely frazzled because I've been stressed out my mind just trying to get this recording setup working, and for all I know, it might not even work when all is said and done, but this is the first main level, and I can say that with certainty because in the Japanese version, all the levels got numbers as well. So, as you will have seen on screen, the English name of this level is Stone Hill. The Japanese version is 1-1 Speed Chase. I promise I won't say it in a racist accent every single time, but I will at least have the information on screen because it's informative and stuff. Also, in the Japanese version, there are bonus collectibles called dragonfly eggs that are green eggs that have little wings, and there's one per level, with one exception that I'll address when we get to it, but that's much later in the game. And you need a really specific peripheral attached to the PlayStation, which has to be Japanese in the Japanese version to make them even appear, and again, look up Crystal Fisher, he's done a walkthrough to finding every single one of those. I don't care, because until last year I didn't even know they existed.
When you free a dragon or step on one of their platforms, you're saving your progress. That could be useful if you run into trouble. Not that you ever run into trouble, Spyro.
Now, by the way, I know that the original Spyro trilogy, so this and the two games after it, played very huge roles in my childhood, but I don't remember the exact order in which I played them, so I'd like to think that by leaving all of the dragon cutscenes in, I'm giving as much of an authentic first-time experience as I can, whilst relaying my childhood memories, which I don't remember my memories, or something. I don't know, I don't think I have any particular standout memories with this game. Like, there aren't any particular moments that come readily to mind where I can think to myself, oh yes, this happened while I was playing this game as a child once. I have little memories here and there, like, those shepherd enemies have an insane amount of reach to them, and if you get... I would say if you get too close. If you get even not quite too close... I cannot words this evening, I apologise. That's always the way with episode 1 of an LP. The point is, their attack... I say the point is far too much, and it seriously annoys me. And guess what, I've ruined the phrase for you now as well, because you may not have noticed before, but now you're going to watch all my old videos and realise just how much I say it, and it'll be annoying, and I apologise. But that attack can hit you from much further away than it looks, and it's very annoying. And as one dragon addressed out in the overworld or homeworld or whatever, as they may have mentioned, there's a boss level for every homeworld, although bosses are kind of weird in this game, but once again, across that bridge when we come to it. Every boss level in each homeworld is themed after one level from that homeworld, and if memory serves, the boss of this homeworld is themed after this level, but you'll see what I mean when we get there. First, another dragon.
Spyro, my friend, how about a hint on gliding?
You bet.
For the longest glide, press the X button at the top of a jump, and try pressing the triangle button to drop down in mid-flight.
Oh god, the control exposition, I think that's what that was. I can't quite hear. I can only hear when there are sound effects, I can't hear what they necessarily are. And also, this is something that I really like about this game. You could go into areas that look like they're out of bounds and they're actually part of the level, but if you try to go too far, then you end up bopping your face on that little grid there. Which is nice. I like the aesthetic of these levels. It's such a beautifully made game. Even though the graphics haven't aged well, but the graphics engine has. Blue thief. Yes, that's a thief, not a thief. They run around a set path, and you have to defeat them, and in this game they carry dragon eggs. In later games they carry other things, but this game, dragon eggs, I don't remember how many of them there are in the entire game, but rest assured you do need to collect them. Because to advance between homeworlds, it's not a case of beat every level to unlock the boss, defeat the boss to get to the next batch of levels. That's not how this game works. With this game, it's to get to the next homeworld, just collect a certain number of whichever collectible. And it does vary with homeworld. I don't know if it varies between PAL, NTSC, and Japanese versions, but I did do some pre-research kind of... I did a low percent run of this game before recording it, partly to get myself used to the controls again, and to the level layouts and stuff, and partly to find out what the specific requirements were for unlocking each subsequent world, and it does vary. I think 2 of the homeworlds are unlocked by rescuing a certain number of dragons, 2 of them are unlocked by... Oh shit, I missed some gems up there. Fuck, and I'm down here now. 2 homeworlds are unlocked by getting... Yeah, 2 are by dragons, 2 are by getting a certain amount of treasure, and 1 is by getting a certain number of dragon eggs. I don't remember exactly what, but I'll put on screen now exactly what the requirements are without spoiling what each homeworld is called, because each homeworld has a vastly different theme to it, and I don't want to spoil what those are, because it's a PlayStation 1 collectathon 3D platformer kind of nonsense. You know they're going to have creative and clever themes and shit, and where was that gem? That's one thing that I can praise this game on, though. With the collectible... Well, with gems specifically, because there's... Well, first of all, there's always a round number in each level. It's always something 100. Never something 150 or anything like that. But this game handles draw distance really well, because this game uses an engine where textures are really vague from a distance, and then they get more specific the closer you get. And with gems, they don't spawn in until you're relatively close, but you can see them sparkle from quite a distance away, so you can tell if you've missed a gem in the far distance because you'll see it sparkling. So that's clever. I feel like I've spoken much too much about the game thus far, so I apologise for that. Hopefully at some point I'll get into the swing of my commentary. And I just realised this isn't the first Spyro game I've ever played on this channel, because my second ever LP was Spyro Adventure for the Game Boy Advance, and so it's 2 folds of nostalgia. Not nostalgia twofold, but 2 folds of it. And by the way, yet another instance of going out of bounds of the level, except it's not out of bounds, it's just underground. There's a key. Subsequent episodes, I promise, won't be anywhere near as exposition-y or as generally dull as this. I was just so stressed trying to get this to record because I wanted to LP this game and now I'm doing it, and here's yet another dragon that we've rescued. His name is Astor, that's adorable.
After you freed all the dragons, pass through this fancy vortex thingamajigger. It'll take you back to the artisan home. But first let me tell you a story.
No thanks. See ya.
The humour of this game. At least I think that was humorous, I can't quite tell. Now, this looks like it's the end of level thing, because it is, but you're not required to go through it at any point. The game does not track how many of those you go through, because you could just pause and hit exit level, and it won't penalise you for it. You can just leave the level on the spot, without fear of losing any of the collectibles you've amassed thus far through the level. So, if I were to hit exit level now, then I would keep all the dragons and gems that I've got, and also, there's a chest. levels that have keys have chests, levels that have chests have keys, but not every level has a chest in it. It's yet another type of collectible, but it's like an in-level collectible. Are you serious? I'm missing one gem. Wow. One last dragon, I promise, then I can shut up and commentate properly.
Watch the dragonfly, Spyro. His color indicates his power. When he eats butterflies, he stays strong. Like me.
Sure.
I promise I will find my funky flow by the next episode. But at least now we don't have to worry about getting dragons, so I don't need to worry about interrupting my commentary, and that well is hexagonal, and I approve this aesthetic. But yeah, so if I were to pause and hit exit level now, I could leave the level with 4 dragons, 199 gems, and that egg intact. But for my own personal... Is gratification the right word? I don't think it is, but we'll go with that anyway. My own personal gratification, I would rather hit the exit portal of every single level, and... well, every level that has one anyway, because we will discover a type of level that doesn't have an exit portal in due course, and no, it's not the boss levels, but we'll see. And this will be a 100% run, but then again, this level... well, I mean, this level's not hard to 100% either, but this game is not that difficult to 100%, particularly to a seasoned player like myself, even though I don't profess to be a professional by any means. Although that is always the way with collectathons like these. If you're missing one collectible... well, what I've found is... with my practice runs and my low percent runs and everything, because when I finished doing my low percent run, I went back and decided to complete every level as much as I could, and I've got through the first 4 worlds so far. But what I found is, if you're going to have missed a gem anywhere, it really sucks if you're missing either 1 gem or 10 gems. Those are the worst denominations to have not found, because 1 gem, that's a single red gem that could be literally anywhere in the level. It's right here, but still. I suppose 2 is bad for the same reason, because green gem's worth 2, and the more you're missing up to... you know what, that was bad wording it. The other number that sucks... If you finish the level with 190 gems, that also sucks, because that could be 1 yellow gem, that could be 2 blue gems, that could be 10 reds or 5 greens, or any combination that adds up to 10, and it's because it's a low number, they could be all together, they could be spread out everywhere, I don't know, well, I mean, this is a hypothetical situation, so no, I don't know the specifics. I'm sorry that I'm rambling. And this is a weird amount of episode to be left with, so I could start another level and do another level and stop halfway through. I want to have every episode be a self-contained bunch of levels and... oh. Why is the boss open already? This isn't supposed to open until I have 10 dragons. I have literally 8. Toasty. You're thirsty. Also, in the Japanese version... okay, so, in English, the first boss's name is Toasty. That's funny enough. But... in the Japanese version, it's called Wonder Pumpkin, so I'll just leave that with you. Also, that's totally not a suspicious waterfall, and those totally aren't 5 very suspicious stepping stones in front of it. But that's not a problem right now. I suppose I'll just call the episode early and see how people react to this series, and I promise, later episodes will be much better commentated than this. I was just stressed at trying to get this to record properly, so... for now, I will say that I have been and will continue to be Tessellating Hexagons, and if this series sucks, please tell me and I'll just pick a different game and... also... if you defeat an enemy, they drop a gem. And once you collect that gem, if that enemy respawns... enemies only respawn when you leave a level or an area and come back. Enemies that have respawned that you've defeated before drop these little pearls instead, and if you collect a set number of them, you get a life, and sometimes the enemies drop health or extra lives instead. And also, this is kind of like Steven Universe the game, because the enemies are just... gems that have been given a monstrous form, therefore we're going around poofing gems and collecting them and... But yeah, I have been, and will continue to be, Tessellating Hexagons. I apologise for how this episode turned out. And I'll see you in the next one if I do indeed decide to keep this recording, because it wasn't that good, to be fair. See you in the next one.